complete the discussion of the nervous system and then move into the respiratory system.
那今天我们是希望把这个神经系统讲完，然后呢开始讲这个呼吸系统。
Okay, so before we start, we'll just do our opening chant. So you have. So I will all together one on, and then call in response. Okay. So just get comfortable. Sahana vavatu.
Sahana vavatu.
Sahana bhunaktu.
Sahana bhunaktu.
Sahaviryam karevavahai.
Sahaviryam karevavahai.
Tejasvinavadhitamastu.
Tejasvinavadhitamastu.
Ma vidvishavahai.
Ma vidvishavahai.
All together.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Okay, so from last time, we spoke about the Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga series, the primary series and intermediate series, and how they affect the nervous system. Okay?
上次大概讲了一下这个初级跟中级的那个系列，应用在这个瑜伽疗法跟这个筋膜的清理。
So the primary series is Yoga Chikitsa, that's yoga therapy. So that's what we see here, which you all know at least up to Navasana, I think. Yeah.
所以初级系列主要是应用在瑜伽疗法这里。
Okay. And then we have our intermediate series, which is Nadi Shodhana, the nerve purification series.
中级就是这个清理脉络这个系列。
Which we spoke a little bit about last week with many back bends.
其中包括很多
At the beginning.
的后弯来刺激你的神经系统。
So what I thought we would do today on the yoga mats is we will do a few rounds of Surya Namaskar, okay? And then we are going to do 4 of the back bends.
今天呢会在之上，我们练习一下一些back bend 后弯。
So we will do Shalabhasana,
Okay.
variations. We will do Vikasana, frog.
蝗虫式、蛙式。
We will do Dhanurasana, the bow. The bow. And we will
骆驼
do
式。
Ustrasana, the camel.
主要这4个了，这是蝗虫、花式、姜公跟骆驼。
So these 3, here, here, and here, we are on the belly.
主
Yeah.
要是
So
肚子在地上啊。
you have to use the muscles on the back of the body to lift
要用背上的肌肉把人拉抬起来。
So these can be quite good for people that have some back problems.
对背部有背痛的人呢特别有效。
Because they strengthen the back muscles quite a lot. Because opposite to gravity. Yeah. And then Ustrasana, we have a little bit of help from gravity.
骆驼式呢
Because
是
we're upright
地心
going
吸力
this way.
是帮忙你的，前3个呢是地心的反作用 第4个呢，罗头式的是地心吸力式，帮助你把这个姿势做得更好，
Well, you
因为
can
它
see
往下拉。
this pose is the same as this pose.
这个是一
Right?
样的。
Just different way that the body is oriented to the ground. Okay. So when we do back bending, if you have back problems, you are happy to watch. You don't have to do them.
要是有背部本身有毛病的，不要勉强，可以先不要做，先观看。
But we will do some variations, modifications.
他会做一些稍微做一些变化。
And the idea of this exercise is not so much to perfect the posture, but to notice the effect on the nervous system.
这个目的呢，不是说要你把那个知识练得更好，更专业，而是呢，让你感受这个对你这个神经系统的刺激，你自己要感受，要听到你身体跟你说话。
And then what I suggest you do next week, you won't do these poses. I don't know what you're doing in your own practices, but when you do any back bending next week, then just think about how it's affecting your nervous system, and maybe write down every day after class
所以你们
what you
的
notice. The
你
last
们
part
有一
to
个
journal a little
功
bit.
课，就是你这一周你家里练的话，你要是有做后弯的话呢，你记录下来，你感受什么样，有没有什么感觉？
Okay.
对你这个神经系统影响，对你整个身体，你觉得有没有不一样的地方
Okay. So let's go to the mat.
？OK，对吧？练一下。
来，过来，不做的人也要听。
So we will do 3 Surya Namaskar
做3次的拜日 A，
to warm the body.
把
Yeah.
身体加热。
And then we will do the back bends, and I will show you, demonstrate, and then you will go. Okay? So Samasthitihi. Everybody ready?
OK，要。
Okay. You come in here. Right? Screening. Tattva. Pancha. Sha. One. Two. Three. Four. Five. Sapta. Jump. Ashta. Exhale. Nava. Rise up. Simplicity. Again. Ekam. Little faster. Right. Exhale. Trini. Chatwari. Pancha. Shat. One. Two. Three. Four. Five. Sapta. Ashta. Nava. Rise up. Samasthiti. Last one. Ekam. Dva. Uti. Trini. Dieci. Chattuari. Pancha. shut. One. Two. One. Three. Four. Five. Sapta. Ashtau. Nava, rise up. Okay, we'll do one vinyasa to the ground. Ekam. Divide. Exhale. Trini, inhale. Chatwari, step forward, jump. Lower down. All the way. Okay. First position. Just take your legs a little wide. Come up into your cobra pose or sphinx pose.
把
Try
脚分大一点，
放松 the back. 放松.
背部放松，
Then bring the legs together.
然后现在脚并拢，
Cross the hands, rest the hips. You'll reach back with the right leg and then lift it up off the ground about
把右脚轻轻的提起来，脚膝盖要伸直，去感受你的身体。
1, 2, 3, 4. As you're lifting the leg up, push down through the hip bone on the same side. 5, and lower.
放下来，
Second side. Lift up.
举高，
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and lower. Take the hands behind you, interlace the fingers in the back of the hips. Straighten out through the arms, and inhale, lift the head, neck, and chest up. 1,
把手臂相互拉，
2, legs strong. 3, 4, 5. Exhale. Now we'll do everything together. Back of the hands on the mat.
手放在身体的两侧，
Legs stay together.
手背向下，
Inhale, lift up both feet. Head, neck, and chest. Gaze to the nose. Here. 1,
脚抬起来，
2, 3,
脚
4,
并拢，
5. Exhale. Easy. Inhale. Lift up. Come into Balasana. Child's pose.
拉拉你的背，
1. You can wiggle a little bit. You feel some tension in your back.
去感受一下你的后背部，乐乐屁股撅掉下来，坐下去。
Okay. Reaching. Breathing in again. Lower down to the mat. This time, we come up again to our Sphinx. Okay, so you'll cross the right arm over and then bend the left knee. And reach back and then spin elbow up, spin the fingers forward, gently pushing down.
把手掌一下，用你的手掌去压住你的脚背、脚尖、
Yeah.
脚面，
Try to bring the foot to the outside. Gently. Try not to collapse like this, yeah? Up nice and strong.
人不要在外面，在中间。
And left leg, other leg, nice and strong.
另外一个脚放松，伸直。
See if you can lift that arm away just a little. Yeah? Okay. Really. Try the other side. Okay, other side. Nice and strong. Reach back. Yeah? Spin, fingers forward. Draw the heel down. We're stretching through the hip flexor and the quadricep muscle on the leg. You haven't had the muscles yet, no? Have not had the muscle anatomy yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
On August.
August. Yeah. Okay. Take away again. Good. Release. Now you can just move a little bit. Now the tricky one is to do both at the same time. So very slowly. One. I can push my elbows down, stretch my ribs forward. Yeah. Bend both knees. Take both hands back. Spin them. Good.
Yes. Very
Nice,
good.
nice. Fingers forward.
我们马上要变大
If you
师了啊！
Yeah, very good. Okay, release. Ichi. Uchi.
拉拉背。
Again, wiggle a little bit to release any tension in the lower back. Okay, now Dhanurasana, the bow. Again, Ichi come up, Uchi go. Now, you come forward again. So elbows push down, come forward with the ribs. Okay, bending both knees. Now we'll hold on to the ankles. Here. Yeah. Good. And Sichi, lift up. 1,
我脚踝那个护栏。
2, 3, 4, 5, and Uchi. Sichi, upward facing. Uchi, down. Sichi, now come to the knees. Yeah, good. Okay. Next one. Ujjasana, camel. So first variation, take the toes under. Legs a little bit wide.
一点点宽一点。
Yeah. You feeling warm?
你们觉得热吗？
Feeling hot.
Yes. Stimulated? Yeah. That's the idea. Okay, so take your hands like this. And just think of lifting up through the bandha, Mudha Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, and take the hips forward. Keep the head down. Elbows come together.
手臂接在一起，
Head down. So chin down here.
收下颚。
Nice. So we're just stretching now the front of the body, but we have help from gravity now. Yeah, it's easier. But you have to stay strong through here. Mudha Bandha. What is the word for strong?
强壮。
Chang? Chang? Don't know if I'm saying right. Okay, next one. Okay, take the tops of the feet. Again, same. So lift up, then the hips come forward.
把髋向前推，感觉到
Keep
大
the
腿
chin down.
收下颚，收下颚，收下颚。
And inhale up.
双手臂弯的尽量靠近身体。
Yeah, elbows come back in like this. Not like this, like this. To open up through. Now, next one. You can choose this way or this way.
你可以选择自己
You can
脚
choose.
踏高或者低。
We will hold our ankles. So if it seems like this is too far away, then you can make your feet like this. Now, same movement pattern. So we lift up, we take the hips forward. We're going to stretch here, and then here, and then here. So just watch me first, okay?
Yep.
Okay.
先看，先看。
Okay. So we start starting here, lifting up, and then forward. Same movement. Same movement. Reach. Here. Now lifting up here, and here, and now stretch.
明白了吗？ 一节
and
一节
then here.
不要一下子往后倒。
And then in this position, you come forward.
要身体往前挪一点，重心往里挪一点。
And then inhale, together, come up.
吸气起来。
So you don't have to do the whole thing. Okay? And you can also have the feet here so that the ankles are higher. You don't want to twist together back. Okay? We'll do it again.
来试试看。
First thing. Inhale, lift. Hips forward. Hips forward. Now think of the ribs lifting. Now think of the chest. Then stretch the throat. Reach back. Breathing. 1,
对，手抓。
2, 3, 4,
很好，非常好，做得很好。
5. Inhale, come up.
吸气起来，
Exhale, sit down.
坐下来，
Reach forward.
拉拉背部，屁股做脚后跟，
Nice deep breathing into the lower back.
把你的呼吸都回到你的那个后背那边，感受那边的放松
And。again, you could wiggle a little bit. And inhale, come up. And just sit on the mat this way. Stretch the legs out. Okay, so at the moment, do you feel more energized, warm,
Yeah,
Energized.
very light.
and light?
Next, yeah.
Okay, so that's moving forward.
动一动前屈，放松，
放松，慢慢呼吸。Good. Inhale, come up, and lie back on the mat. We'll just do a little twist, counter pose.
躺下来，做一点点
These
的，
bits.
做一点点的那个，
Okay. Take the hips a little bit to one side.
把你的屁股移到左边，
Lift up the feet.
稍微挪一下，
Drop the knees over.
然后你的腰就可以放松了。
Arms out.
脚
Look the other way.
哎，这边，我来，
Yeah, everybody has to go the same way.
做另外一边，就是把你的那个腰放松的，做一个扭转，做一个扭转，做一个扭转。
屁股往左面挪一点，但是脚是向右。
Okay, so we did lots of back bends, then a forward bend, and then a twist for counter
意
pose.
思就是说，做完这些后弯以后，你可以做这个，把你的腰调整一下，这个一点点的扭转。
And CT come up. Lower the hips the other way. Knee up and lower.
另外一边，
And look that way. And back to center. And now we'll just roll a few times forward and back. Nice and gentle. Go ahead now. Nice and flattening out the spine. Okay, great. Can go back to that. Yeah. We did Dhanurasana and we did Ustrasana.
Wow. Did several.
And so here, from here on, these become much more intense, yeah?
啊，这4个是之后的其他的背方呢，都是比较刺激性比较强烈。
But in my opinion, if you are struggling with Urdhva Dhanurasana, I don't know if I have a picture of it. Oh wait, I did. But, last week. Udvadanarasana, the wheel.
Yes, that's right.
You're struggling with the wheel, then some of these postures might be very helpful to strengthen the back.
Oh, okay.
这些都对
Up to the teacher, but in my opinion, it's very helpful.
强壮你们的背部肌肉是比较有效的。
Also for nerve strengthening, the nervous system being stronger.
尤其是对神经系统的帮忙是比较大的。
Okay. So, cool. Okay, so the next part of the nervous system now is to bring the connection between the mind and the body together.
怎么样把身体跟你的心跟身连接在一起呢？
Which is one of the main elements in yoga practice.
瑜伽的锻炼主要就是在希望能够做到心跟身心方面的连接。
So back in the Upanishad, we have a sutra, Tan Yogam Iti Manyate Stiram Indriya Dharanam. So yoga is considered to be the steady fixing of the sense organs.
所以卡塔尔语书这里呢有写到了，就是有这么一句梵文的一句话，那什么意思呢？我们在 Yoga Mala 就是这个我们那个祖师爷啊 Palabi Joyce 对几句话的理解，然后我就翻译在这里写下来这里。所以这个以及大概的意思就是刚才说的那个瑜伽就是可以稳定的把你的思维、你的感觉器官把它锚定，就是联合在一起，连接在一起。
So the sense organs, right? Your sense of sight, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, your sense of touch. This is the connection between the outside world and the inside world.
这是人的内心世界跟外间连接，就是通过神经系统，就是感官器官的知觉来做到的。
And so if it's not steady, if the sense organs are not accurately perceiving, then it's quite likely you will have a distorted perspective of what's happening to the outside world or the inside world.
那当然，要是你的感官器官的知觉出现错误那你当然你对现实世界理解也会出现错误。
Okay? So, one way to think about yoga, and this relates very strongly to pratyahara, the fifth limb of Ashtanga yoga, that withdrawing the senses.
跟瑜伽八支里面的第五支是相连的，就是把你的感知脱离，你可以做到正确的认知之后，你也相对来说你也可以做到脱离，能够不受你的感知所影响你的内心思想。
I think of pratyahara, the fifth limb, is the bridge between the outside and the inside, between what you can do, practice, and what happens. Okay, so you have yama niyama asana pranayama, then pratyahara is the bridge, and then dharana dhyana samadhi happen. So this is what you practice, this is what happens. Pratyahara is the bridge.
所以第五支就是现实跟你的认知的相连。
Okay, so we have to speak of a few aspects of the mind-body connection. Perception is the organization, identification, and interpretation of sensory information.
那这是人的内心里面那个思想，就是你的洞察力，就是根据你的感觉器官所收到的一些讯息，通过神经系统传回你的脑袋里面，然后你对收回来的讯息的一个判断。
Interoception is sensing what's happening in the internal body.
但是内格照呢，就是你是去感受身体内部的一些讯息，不是外面世界的信息。
And one part of interoception is called visceroception, which is perception of body signals that arise from the viscera, the heart, the lungs, the stomach, the bladder, etc.
其中一个内脏感受呢，就是来自你身体器官给你的一些讯息，比方说很简单的，你心跳，你感觉到自己的心跳， 这个就是来自身体里面器官的一个讯息。
And proprioception also has been called kinesthesia, is the sense of movement in the body and body position. So where your body is in space and how it's moving. Is it moving quickly? Is it moving slowly? Is it steady? Is it unsteady, etc.
本体感觉就是你对运动身体在动作的时候的那个感觉，就是我们说有些人天赋有这个运动员的那种天赋啊，他打球打个球都打得比人家准啊，或是打篮球射个篮都每一次都能够射中，这些都是你对身体动作的一种感知啊。
And finally, there's nociception, which is how we sense pain.
另外一个是伤害感受了，对吧？身体对痛感的感受。
Okay, so we're going to go into more detail now with each of these. Okay, so perception is interpreting sensory information in order to represent and understand the information presented or in the environment.
然后那个动察力就是身体对周围环境的接收回来的讯息的一个理解跟判断，然后决定我应该对这个环境怎么去反应，我应该做什么。
So there are 5 main senses: sense of sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch.
那身体呢，当然有五种感知感觉：视觉、听觉、嗅觉、味觉、触觉啊。
触觉。
And sense is a biological system that's used by organisms to gather information about the world and then respond to it.
那所有的动物都是通过他们自己的感觉系统去感应，是知道世界啊周边环境的变化，然后去做出一个反应。
And the sense organs, okay, so our eyes, our ears, etc., collect the stimuli from the environment and then transform it into a signal that can be understood by the brain, which is electrical.
感觉器官呢，就是收集周边所有的讯息的变化，然后呢，通过把这些收集回来的讯息转化成，在人来说呢是转化为电讯号传回大脑，让脑袋来处理这些讯号，知道周边环境发生什么变化。
So, for example, in the eyes, we see light. Those are photons. And in our eyes, those cells will transform the signal to an electrical signal, and that signal will travel via the optic nerve into the brain.
电就像眼睛可以看到光，光能在眼睛接受到光之后呢，眼睛的细胞会把它转化为一个电的讯号，要通过这个optical nerve， 就是你的视觉神经，把这个电的讯号传回大脑，大脑处理你眼睛看到的讯息。
So light is transformed into electrical. In the ear, the cochlea, the inner ear, it senses the sound waves as it come into the ear, and then there are nerve cells that are aligned along the cochlea that then turn that sound wave signal into electrical signal. Again for the brain.
也是一样，耳朵呢听到是声音是空气的震动，然后你耳朵里面那个小的细毛感应到这些一些空气的震动是一种机械能嘛，把它转换为电能，也传回大脑，让脑知道你听到一些什么信号。
And same thing with smell and taste. We have chemicals that get translated into electrical signal.
嗅觉跟味觉也是一样，你的对味道的感觉也是一样，转化为一个电的讯号传回大脑，让大脑去处理，你就知道的是咸的、苦的、酸的还是什么味道。
And with touch, we have pressure. Pressure is translated into signal,
触觉也
electrical
是一样
signal.，
你是感应到一些压力之后呢，你是也是一样转化为电能，就传回去。
So it's quite fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is a connection between perception and the 5 great elements according to Sankhya philosophy. Sankhya philosophy and yoga philosophy are parallel to each other. Okay? And I will let you. The 5 elements are, according to Ayurveda, space, air, fire, water, and earth.
这个呢，这是 这些感觉神经系统各方面呢，跟就是与古代古印度叫的五大马哈布塔，这个是根据的苏人派和真法派这个神体就是这个教派的那个理论的解释是怎么关联的啦？就是宇宙中的5个主要元素所组成，就是空间、空气、火、水跟大地
Okay, so similar to traditional Chinese medicine, you have 5 elements. I think you have air, fire, water, earth, and wood.
这个有点像
Yes,
中
we
国
got
的
wood.
Yeah,
we have wood.
similar.
金木水火土的
Okay, they are properties of the world, the material world, that create everything we see. Okay, so space, ether, is akasha. This is a principle of all pervasiveness. The qualities are light, subtle, clear, infinite, and all-encompassing. And from the perception point of view, akasha is the medium for sound to travel, sound waves. So we have an association with hearing and with speaking.
所以这个空间呢，刚才说了，就是关系到我们的听觉所以你听跟说话通过空间只是空气去传播出来，空间，所以呢这个就是说这个空间所主导的就是你的听觉这方面。
And the next one, air, the vayu. Okay, we've talked about the vayus with prana vayus, yeah, the 5 vayus. This is the principle of movement.
空气就是跟这个运动起关系
And the qualities are subtle, light, mobile, clear, rough, dry, and erratic.
就是它的特性就是这些微妙轻盈流动这些。
And the association here is that sensation travels through the skin and the nerves just as you feel the wind on your skin, and thus relates to the sense of touch. The sensory organ is your skin, and the motor organ are your hands. How you touch.
空气的流动就是风，你的皮肤是感觉到空气的流动所以呢，它相对应的一个主角就是你的你的皮肤的感觉，就是。
Okay.
触感。
Next one is fire, tejas. You know, tejasvi in the chant. Illumination. Principle of heat and illumination. Qualities are hot, sharp, liquid, penetrating, and luminous light.
那火呢，就是关系到光了，这个很简单的，很直接的，就是关系到眼睛能看到的东西
So light travels through the eyes via photoreceptor containing cells, and thus is related to the sense of sight and vision. The sensory organ is the eye, and the motor organ is the foot. So you can walk and see where you are going.
相关联的就是你的眼睛跟你的脚能够走动。
Okay. Water, jala, principle of cohesion, coming together.
水是可以凝聚的柔软的
And the qualities are liquid, heavy, wet, oily, cool, soft, dull, and stable.
所以呢，就像舌头湿润的时候，可以感觉到味道。
Flavors and tastes are perceived when the tongue is wet, and thus it is related to taste. Okay? And the tongue is a sensory organ, and the motor organ is the lower tongue, the genitals. Yeah? So you have 2 ends to the digestive system, or more or less, digestive area.
消化系统的两个头，一头一尾。
Okay? And both are moist. The last one is earth. Prithvi, the principle of inertia.
最后一个是大地，这个 Prithvi 就是这个火焰球地球女神，其实也可以说是大地女神，这主要是土地。
And the qualities are heavy, dull, static, hard, gross, and dense. Earthy objects, dense objects give off smell, like the dark earth in New Zealand with the fern is very pungent.
特性就是比较沉重的、静止的，然后呢会散发出泥土的味。
If you think of food in the refrigerator for too long, it's very smelly.
就是尤其是因为它只关系到你的泥土方面这个气味，然后呢所以就关系到你的嗅觉。
Not moving, dense. So related to the sense of smell, the sensory organ is the nose, and the motor organs are the excretory organs, elimination
相
process.
关联的器官就是你鼻子跟你的排泄。
Okay, so again, this is a nice connection for us between the Western perspective of perception and the Indian philosophy. Yeah.
这个是古印度这个秩序理论相对应为西方能够理解的那种科学世界里面的对身体的看法。
And also, if you're interested in Ayurveda as a medicinal practice alongside yoga, then the 5 elements are brought together to determine your dosha, which is your constitution. So you may have heard of Vata, Pitta, Kapha. I don't know if you have yet, but those are related to the 5 elements, and combinations of the 5 elements create those 3 doshas.
所以在古印度那个阿育吠陀那种古印度疗法，这是他们的有点像中医的，他们是印度的治疗办法。这是5大元素跟你身体对应，看看你什么地方是平衡啊，然后就去给你调理，有点像中医的阴阳调理啊。你金木水火土啊，怎么样把它拿到一个平衡，你身体就健康了。那古印度的疗法，阿育吠陀的疗法也是一模一样，在决定的3种不同的程度的疗法。
I think maybe similar again to traditional Chinese medicine. When you are unwell, when you are sick, then you try to balance the dosha. In Ayurveda, you try to balance the system by changing the elements that you are maybe taking in for food or medicine. So you bring stability or balance to something that's out of balance. It's the same in Ayurveda, and it's done through looking at your dosha. So for me, I am quite Vata and a little bit Pitta, not so much Kapha for me. So, but when Vata gets out of balance, I don't sleep, I get anxious, all kinds of things, yeah? So Vata has to be in balance.
他说他自己就是
An example.
Vata
Air and
Yeah,
space.
yes, yeah.
Air and space. 2.
他这方面比较强，所以他有时候休息不好。
Space and air. And Pitta is more fire and water, and Kapha is earth and water. Yeah. So somebody who is very Kapha maybe watches TV all day long, okay? And so you have to help that person get out of being inert, get them moving to balance. Yeah. Whereas a Vata person, maybe they should rest more.
Save energy.
Yeah. Okay. So, thinking with back bending, yeah, that stimulation of the nervous system, maybe for someone who is Vata, not so much. Maybe more forward bending. If it's out of balance. But someone who is Kapha, no energy,
Yeah, that's right.
maybe more back bending to bring more energy.
Yes.
Okay? You see how to think about it?
Yes.
所以主要就是针对你5个元素，哪一个强的一个药的把它加强，强的那个把它压下来，
压下来。
拿到一个平衡就是。
Okay. Okay, so the next one is interoception. So this is sensing of the internal states in the body.
那感知身体内部的变化。
And this can be conscious as well as unconscious.
你可以是有意识的，也可以是无意识的。
So we have processes that are happening in the body that get sent to different parts of the brain. So the thalamus, the insula, the somatosensory cortex, the ACC. So there's some over here on the, remember the ACC is here.
Yeah.
We have, this is the corpus callosum, the ACC is just this area. Somatosensory is up here. Primary motor is here. The thalamus is here. Okay, so it's integrating that information. So we know what's happening in the interior of the body.
所以所有的讯息都是 回到这个脑袋用大脑去处理的。所以大家可以再记一下你上一讲的那个脑袋的结构，整个脑是浮在一层液体上面。
是的。
So particularly important for maintaining homeostasis. So body temperature, making sure that we have signals for hunger and thirst, our circadian rhythm, going to sleep, the nasal cycle, left side, right side, all of those things. Interoception is when we can, hopefully, through yoga, bring more attention, more conscious awareness to those processes.
大部分这些讯号呢，其实呢，你在无意识之中呢，脑袋已经给你处理掉这些讯息的，包括你对温度的感应啊，你听啊，看到的东西啊，身体里面这个心跳啊，这些讯号，都是无意识的已经处理掉。那练瑜伽的意义是希望能够令到我们脑袋更有个自我的意识去感受这些讯号，希望通过这个能够有一点点能够影响到这个讯号。
And then one sub area of interoception is visceroception, which relates specifically to the heart, the lungs, the stomach, the bladder, the intestines. So you can feel your heart beating, you can feel your stomach growling, you can feel peristalsis we'll talk about that when you digest your food. You can feel all those things and you know what's happening in the body.
那一种感受呢，就是要感受到你身体器官给你的脑袋的一些讯息，包括比方说心脏很明显你感受到自己心脏跳动的声音，或是有时候你感受到胃里面有东西挪动啊，或是有胃气啊，或是你的膀胱啊满了，你要去小便啊，这些都是器官给你的一些讯息嘛。
Okay, great. So then we move to, here we go. One more. When you have signals that are misrepresenting the internal states of the body, so incorrect information, then there's a disconnect between the mind and the body.
但是有时候呢，信号传递出错，或是一些错误信号传回大脑呢，就会出现脑袋对你身体的状况出现一个误解。
And that type of scenario can lead to a number of mental disorders. So anxiety, depression, panic disorder, anorexia, PTSD, obsessive compulsive, attention deficit, pretty much everything, autism spectrum, because you are misunderstanding what's happening in your body.
就刚才讲的一大串这些的病呢，都是因为大脑对你身体真实状况出现一个错误的理解。
Also, excuse me. So autism spectrum is part of it's the brain problems, not physically, you know.
Yeah, I mean, autism it has a number of manifestations, right?
Oh, okay.
So the issue is that you are. What comes first, chicken or the egg? I don't know. But basically, in autism spectrum, you have a misunderstanding of the world around you, right? You don't necessarily connect with people's faces, for example. So when we spoke about the polyvagal theory, in 2 times ago, one element of soothing and calming is connection with the face. Someone with autism spectrum disorder might not be able to read.
Yes, that's right.
Perceive the face accurately, maybe, and therefore will not be soothed in the same way, or will not look for that kind of social engagement.
Yeah, okay.
So it's a misrepresentation.
Yeah, lots of
misrepresentation of what you're perceiving.
That's right.
Or what you're feeling. So there are a number of things that could contribute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the brain is probably one of the places where if there's a problem in the brain of some kind, then you're going to have a problem.
Yeah. So this is so if there's someone got autism spectrum, not it's they carried from the mother, when they deliver baby, so have naturally have one. Just for the when they growing, have some kind of things.
I don't know
happened.
with autism. I'm not sure that's clear. If there's a genetic element or not,
Yes, that's right.
or whether it's something that develops after.
Yeah. Okay.
I think there's probably cases of both.
Yeah. Maybe.
I think autism is a very it's a wide-ranging
Yeah.
continuum. And all the mental illnesses are probably like that, a spectrum, not so much like,
Just
the
only one
DSM tries to diagnose you. You have this, you have this, you have this.
It's different.
But actually, there's a lot of overlap with all of these disorders,
Yes, that's right.
right?
Okay.
And, okay. So proprioception now, we're coming to how we are sensing our body in space. Okay, so again, with yoga, this is facilitating this. We know more about where our arms and our legs are in relation to the space we're in through practicing yoga asana.
好，那我们练习瑜伽的体式呢，其实是帮助我们更好的感受一下我们自我的运动感觉。
So it's mediated by different sensory neurons that are located in joints, okay? In joints, in tendon areas between the muscle and the bone. So a tendon is the connective tissue between muscle and bone. And also the muscle itself, the spindle fibers, will sense how much the muscle is stretching or how much it is contracted, okay? So these sensory neurons relay information about where your limbs are in space, where you are in relation to gravity. So if you're upside down or right side up or lying flat, and also sort of like the speed or the load on a limb. Okay, how heavy something is, how light it is, how fast you're moving. All of that information gets relayed through these types of mechanosensory neurons.
刚才他讲的就是举了一个例子，是手的作为一个例子，你的骨头是被这个所有的肌肉，一出的肌肉，通过这个肌腱连着把它连到骨头上去，连到你的关节上去。关节的活动是通过肌肉的收缩放松来拉动。但是肌肉是怎么拉动的呢？它是通过两个点的镜头，这个肌就是组织呢，把它连到这个关节骨头上，肩连到骨头上。当它收缩的时候，或者放松的时候呢，你就可以活动起来。那它里面有大量的神经元。这些神经元呢，就回报回你的脑袋，告诉你的大脑，我现在在怎么样的一个状态，怎么样的位置，然后你就感觉到现在我这个人的手是在一个怎么样的位置，那么整个身体来讲呢，你脑袋就会知道我现在是不是在打关斗啊，或是做一个胸翻啊，或是在干什么就是对身体的动作运动呢有一个感知。
And I suspect you'll get much more information about this sort of thing in the musculoskeletal section of your anatomy. Yeah.
当我们的讲解剖的时候，会有更多的一些讲述这方面。
Okay. So with proprioception, we have the central nervous system integrating that information and other sensory systems, such as your vision, your vestibular system, which helps with balance in the inner ear, to give an overall representation of where you are in space and whether you're moving and how fast you're moving.
那我们感觉身体是否平衡，能够做到一些动作，是通过这个中枢神经的整合跟前庭系统这个内感觉，你身体耳水是否平衡，来达到这个控制我们身体的平衡这个能力的。
Okay, and so in yoga we do a lot of balancing, right? To help to tune these systems so that our proprioception is more accurate. Yeah?
瑜伽有很多做平衡的动作，就是来锻炼你身体
平衡性。
前庭系统的那种感觉，让它拿得更准确一点。
Okay, and so that's through this integration. So the bottom part, we have our ability to balance is based on this integration of proprioception, thinking, our vestibular system, our vision, our overall body strength, as well as our psychological factors. Okay, so when we balance, we're integrating all of those things.
所以就是像这些瑜伽的动作呢，就是怎么整合你这个本体感觉。这个是多种不同的感觉器官跟你那个神经系统组合一起作用来做到的，所以多锻炼这个平衡的这个技术，都能够锻炼得到你本身对这个整个这个本体感觉的一种更精准的一种把握。
So when you do balancing asana in practice, you will notice maybe when you are very stressed or tired or it's at the end of the day, it's much harder to balance. Utthita Parangushtasana,
Yeah.
much harder,
Yes.
right? So that's why. That's why, because some things, maybe it's
Meditation.
your muscle strength, you're tired, maybe it's because you had a stressful day, maybe it's because you're thinking about something else, then your balance will be much more difficult. It will be much harder for those balancing poses. So again, that's why we do them, to give you information about how you are in the moment, as well as to practice and hone those skills and that integration of those processing pathways.
所以当你身体疲劳啊，或者集中精神的时候，你发现做这些平衡的体式的时候呢，很难把握得好。
做不好。
那相反来说呢，就是因为你要多锻炼、多练这个体式，你才会更好的拿到这个平衡感，但是对你这个恢复疲劳啊，恢复你的思维的集中啊是有帮助的。
So we'll do, I think, yes, exercise again. So we'll go back, we'll go to the mats for a moment. We're going to try a balancing asana. You can pick any one you want. Okay? We're going to talk about the gaze, the drishti. This is the visual aspect of balancing. We're integrating our vision with the drishti, which is helping create that bridge, pratyahara, that fifth sense of sense withdrawal. And we will try our balancing positions with our eyes open and our eyes closed to see how it changes our ability to balance.
我们再去练习一下啊，再锻炼一下整套，就是通过这些平衡的体式，然后呢，去锻炼凝视点，你的看专注啊。
Okay, so let's go.
跟你的控制内心怎么去集中精神？当你凝视的时候，你可以当然要练正眼跟闭眼。
Yeah, come back over to the mat. Lower, out. And then you'll just lift up the heels. Yes, good. Everyone. Balancing nicely. And now lower down. And we'll do the same thing. Lift up. Bishan Yanjing. Yeah, up. Now close. Much harder?
Much. Close eyes is
Yeah.
hard.
So we've taken away
Yeah.
that element that we use for our balance, the vision.
Totally different.
Totally different, yeah? Okay, let's try one leg. So we'll come into the tree position, so with one leg here. So using your gaze, very balanced, nice. Good. Okay, now you can close the eyes. Bishan Nanjing.
闭上眼睛。
Try the other side.
Other side.
Again.
换脚。
You might also notice because we have one side is usually more stronger than the other, that one side you will balance more easily on than the other. Yes. So for me, my right leg is stronger than my left.
Yes.
So I can
My right
balance
leg is, yeah,
for a very long time here, but not so much here.
Yeah.
So that's that integration with your muscular strength and also your proprioception. Proprioception, because I have a stronger connection to my right leg
Yeah.
because I'm right-handed.
Yes.
每一个人都有一个长的脚的，这个左右脚都不会完全平衡的，所以没关系的，你们多一点锻炼这手呢，慢慢呢你会把两个脚都可以平衡得到。
Okay?
他是要是左撇子会左边更强一些，用右手就会右边更强一些。What? I think that's the translation of.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. Now, I don't know where everyone is for inversion, upside down. Okay, but we can try a little bit different. So we'll come onto our knees. Come down. Okay. So we're very stable here, and drop your head down. A little bit upside down. Now, we're going to lift up. One hand forward, other leg back. Head down. And try to lift.
低头。
And now close the eyes.
Yeah.
Very tricky, yeah?
No problem.
No problem. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Try again. Other side.
好，另外一边。
Easier.
easy.
Nice. Okay. And
Handstand.
head.
Handstand. Yeah. 1, 2. Handstand can, but can't do herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We can't use the wall. Okay. So who is doing headstand?
So we can rely on the wall.
With assistant is okay.
But now it's really news.
Yeah. Okay.
really.
So we just do just watch.
Yeah.
我
Okay.
们就看就好了，
你看，看着他们。
Here.
不要装。
Head down. Lift up.
你要那个。
And then just here.
Yeah.
And see if you can just take the weight. That's it.
你们只做这样就好了啊！
I
不要
just
不
I
要起
just
来
want you to get a sense of finding your balance upside down.
啊，找到平衡感。不要起来啊！
哎
起来我救不了你啊！
Just here. Just a little.
只是一点点，脚起来。
一点点。
脚一个起来是吗，老师？
对，只是一个个，你感觉到好像那个人要平衡的感觉，找到他的平衡感。
So just a little bit. Yeah. Good. So it's different. Yeah? Okay. And come down. You can come down. Balasana.
放松你的头。
Okay, cool. We can go back. So just a few examples.
那一肌呢，这是第二肌呢，在呼气之时候收缩。
And then the internal ones pull the ribs back together. The next set of muscles are the abdominal muscles. Okay, the abdominal muscles.
下一组呢，这是你腹部的肌肉，腹肌。
Mainly they function in a deep or forced exhalation.
他收缩的时候呢，是把气温往上推。
And that's the belly drawing in. And as the belly draws in, it pushes up.
你收缩腹肌的时候呢，是把气温往上推，
So the contents in the abdominal cavity
肺的
push
空
up.
间缩小，把空气推出来。
And that makes the size of the chest cavity smaller. So you breathe out. Okay. So one way to feel this happening is to take a breath in. Sichi. Puchi, purse the lips. You feel?
Yeah.
呼气的时候，
You feel the, you
吹出
feel
来。
that action.
Yeah.
So you can feel the abdominal muscles working.
yeah.
Immediately. Okay. And now we come to the diaphragm. This is the most important muscle for our respiratory system.
啊，
We'll see
隔膜
a
这个是
picture in a moment.
对我们来说是最重要的一组啊。
重要的。
So it is a dome sheet of muscle that's underneath the rib cage. It's muscle and connective tissue, a tendon, and it spans the entire torso here. It separates the thoracic cavity from the abdominal cavity.
基本上隔膜呢，只要把人的向下的情况呢完全分割开来啊。
And there are 3 parts. There's the central tendon, okay, which is sort of the very top of the dome. And then there's the costal component, which are the muscle fibers that go from the central tendon down and out to the rib cage. And then there's the crural component, which goes from forward from the lumbar spine around the heart to the central tendon.
啊，组成的是基本上3大块组成的，中央是一大片的
So
中
if
央
you
肌，
pay attention, pink, purple, green.
然后呢，然后就是肋骨部分的，
And over here, okay, now this is looking up from below, this one.
这个从下面往上看的角度
Okay, so you're looking up this way. This is the back. This is
这
the
个是背
front.
这个是前面
Okay.
这个是背部。
This is the central tendon here, pink. Okay, this
这个
is the
中央
central
肌。
tendon. It's not attached to bone. It's the only tendon in the body that does not connect muscle to bone.
啊，这个是身体唯一一块是跟骨头不相连的这样子肌啊。
These are the costal fibers here. Okay, so those are the
这
purple
个
costal fibers.
内肩肌肉啊，
So they go from the central tendon to the rib cage.
就是连着，就是把这个中央肌连到这个胸部。
And then the final, the crus, the left and the right, are here. They attach from here, either side of the heart, to the spine.
这个就是那个小腿上的那个肌肉。
Okay, so because we're looking up, this is the right crus, this is the left crus.
影响到上面。
And this
它
is
主要是一个支撑的，
the aorta.
这是这里，
这个有一个，
它是你的脊椎，
脊椎。
从脊椎连着脊椎是一个定点的啊，那个肌肉是定在这里，啊连在这里，另外一头就连到这个横膈膜。
So this one, the dome, no ribs, they've been taken away. You can see how the diaphragm
把
sits
内骨拿
on
掉，
the
你可以看
inside
到它的
of the
形
rib
状
cage.
啊，所以这些肌肉呢是crus，刚才那个。
Which one? This one? Here. Yeah.
这些是小腿状的肌肉条，是连到你的脊椎的。
So that's the attachment to the
然后
spine.
呢，另外一面呢，这是这些这是内肩肌肉就连到你的肋骨，然后呢，中央肌是连到这些肌肉，
To the rib.
Between, yeah.
一层一层。
所以变成一个膜。然后呢，一头是钉在你的脊椎，另外一面呢就是连到你的肋骨。
内骨这
Now
包着
inside is no any muscle and bone to support.
Yeah, well, the central tendon doesn't
Yes.
connect. Yeah.
Oh, it's a soft.
Okay, so also
那是很重要。
the
把身
sheath
体省下。
of muscle takes the shape
Yeah.
of the organs below. So it's very soft.
它本身是很柔软的，所以本身并没有个特
So
定的
the
形状。
stomach
它圆
and
形的
the
原因是因为你下面的器
liver
官堆
and
起
the
来了，
spleen, all of those.
堆成一个拱形，所以它就变成一个拱形。
So this is the esophagus. So connection from above down to the stomach comes through.
这个食道
And this is the vena cava, one of the veins that goes from the body to the heart. And this is the aorta that goes from the heart to the body
这个动脉
as an artery.
静脉动脉。血管。
So the diaphragm accommodates all of those systems. Interestingly, the esophagus here, that's for the digestive system. Sometimes the stomach is here.
胃大概是这个
And
位
the
置。
esophagus comes down into the stomach,
Also,
moving
a
through
little
the
bit on
diaphragm.
left side.
If in some people the esophagus pulls up and the stomach moves up a little bit,
Burp.
it causes quite severe indigestion.
Oh, okay.
So some people who have very bad indigestion, it's called a hiatal hernia,
Oh, okay.
and that's why, because the acids are moving up into the esophagus
Will
because
maybe
it's being
burn your
pulled
heart.
up a little bit.
是太
Yeah,
饱有时候就
heartburn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
有些人消化出问题，就是这个给拉上
性骚感
胃
觉
胃拉的
胃酸
过高
胃酸过多，
对胃酸的反冲上。
但是有时候你吃太饱了，就很酸，那个就出来了。
Okay, so in terms of function, when we are thinking about the diaphragm, if you are lying down, supine posture, and the back and the ribs are stable, not moving, then the diaphragm, when you can breathe in, when you contract, so if I was lying down,
要睡在地上啊，
I'm lying down,
然后你的腰椎跟
the
你的
diaphragm is
背
here.
是承托
When
住
I
的。
breathe in, the diaphragm goes down and the belly goes out.
Yeah.
Yeah? And that we're going to do this in a moment, but I'll just talk us through it first. And then as I breathe out, the belly goes in and the diaphragm goes back up.
所以你吸气的时候呢，横膈膜往下移动，肚子往上。呼气的时候呢，双反，膈膜往上移，肚子收紧。
And so that creates a vacuum in the lungs and air goes in.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay? And then basically, when you're lying down, when you breathe out, it's passive. It's just that elasticity of the tissues. You breathe out, and it pushes the air out. Okay? That's the most simplest diaphragmatic action.
最简单的就是
Pure diaphragm.
躺在地上，自然的让腹部这样收缩，这样收缩了，你膈膜呢自然就会往前往上拉抬，或是往下拉抬，
Okay.
这自然呼吸。
That's what we call that belly breathing in yoga.
这个呼吸。
So the belly is relaxed, and the belly moves out. So the diaphragm is moving up and down quite a lot. Now, thoracidiaphragmatic breathing is when you keep the belly firm. So we use Uddiyana Bandha, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, yeah. And when you keep the belly firm, as the diaphragm contracts, it can't go down. So what happens is there's a cantilever effect, and the ribs go out. Right? So if you hold your belly firm, when you breathe in, you feel the rib cage go out.
That's
Right?
Mm.
But if you soften here, and you don't feel the rib cage move, when the belly is soft, you can feel that difference?
Yes, that's right.
Different actions are happening, yeah? Okay. So it's important to understand the difference of those two activities. And in posture, it depends on what you're doing as to whether or not you're going to have what kind of movement the diaphragm is going to be making.
在你的练习体式的时候呢，你究竟两种不同的呼吸办法，该用什么呢？取决于你当时做什么动作。
Okay, so because it connects to the spine and the ribs, and we have that movement of the belly, if something is fixed, that will not move. Some other part of the body has to move to accommodate the air coming in.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay? So, I don't know what's next. So I'll show you a little video. This is an MRI video
大
of
家先
breathing.
看一下电影，
So you can see this is the heart,
这个是心
these are
脏，
the lungs,
这个肺，
the diaphragm is going to be here,
这是膈膜在这里，
this is the liver,
这肝，
okay?
这么大，
心肝宝贝儿。
So breathing in, deep breath in now, deep breath,
上了
belly breathing.
下了。哦，
吸气，呼吸。
气，
呼气。
这吸气了。
没有
Yeah.，
这个
吸气，
Cool,
这
yeah.
个是呼气，
这腹
Try it one more time.
呼了它是上升
更小，了，
呼上升了，对
Little，breath.
吸气是 out，
吸气
down，
吸
呼
气，
气呼气，
，little breath. Now big breath.
呼气，
对，吸
吸
气吸气，这个吸气，
呼气。
呼气啊，
Okay, so this
吸是
whole
下沉
thing moving down.
吸气下沉，
哦，吸是下沉，
你看的隔膜在往下移动。
是，
Okay, so that's MRI.
哇哦，
Cool. Oops.
也是腹式，就是
Okay, one more exercise. We'll
Okay.
come over.
Okay.
One thing. Okay, I'll show you. We're going to do two things, two postures.
yeah
We have Cobra, we did already today.
yes，
yeah
We'll do again.
yeah，
But this time, what you need to make clear is that the ribs are stable. The back, the back is stable and the belly is stable on the floor. So as you breathe in, the ribs will lift the body. The diaphragm will lift the body to accommodate the air.
这肚子静止不移动的，所以你要当你吸肉的时候呢，那个你好像膈膜会把人拉高，然后要拉
去抬
抬
高，
整个人会拉起来。
就不动，
So the only movable insertion is between the costal muscle and the ribs.
啊
That's the
所以
only one that can move.
移动的
In this
移动的
situation.
是你的肋骨里面的肋骨间的那个肌肉。
That's in contrast in this situation. The
这个是另
belly
外一
and
个
the
了。
ribs are fixed, right? Fixed. So the
下
only
面这个
insertion
是
that can
定的
move is the back.
只有背是可以移动。
Okay. And we'll also lie on our backs and do a belly breath, so you can feel that. Okay, so we can go back over to the mat.